Man, the saga continues. How you doing today, Michael? I guess we got some good news today. What's the update you have today?
Well, we got some better news that I've had since this whole thing began. I filed a motion to disqualify the judge. I did it properly, served him, had the background, lack of jurisdiction. In the meantime, I had filed a writ of mandamus with the Supreme Court, of Texas. I haven't been notified anything from the Supreme Court, but when I went up to the courthouse Wednesday, I went up to the county clerk's office, asked her if anything had changed on my case. She said, yes, we got something in yesterday. She opened my case file, and I had a letter in there from the regional presiding judge which telling me that they've disqualified my judge because I have a new judge on my case, district judge out of Monahans. After research, what I've discovered, technically, all he can do on the case is a constitutional right is to vacate the void judgment. He can't retry it, he can't add to it, can't do anything with it other than sign the motion to vacate the void judgment. And that's great news for my part.
How big of a win is this, real quick? Because I'm going to delve into how much you've gotten help through other unconventional means, but how big of a win is this? You told me the percentage earlier, right?
Yes, according to ChatGTP and the research I've done, a pro se litigant generally has less than a 1% chance of getting a judge disqualified. And the reason why most of them don't know how to do it properly.
Well, I was going to ask you, how did this happen?
You have to do your research. You have to make sure you file everything properly, and you have to have the grounds to do it. And by him ruling on my case, being told there was a title issue, he was to immediately move it to district court, the JP and the county judge. But they didn't. They ruled on it anyway.
Do you want to give up your secret weapon here for everybody that's listening?
ChatGTP is wonderful.
Man, I've never heard this. It's crazy.
I never had it until I discovered it in January. And everything up to that point I'd done myself. For instance, I'd filed a motion to disqualify the judge, but I didn't know some of the steps you had to do. So it just sat in the case file. Like most of the motions I'd already filed. Because they don't tell you in the books. Every court has certain procedures. You have to research those procedures, which to me is nonsense. The law is black and white. The court should be black and white.
What do you mean the procedure, like for every different courthouse or region?
Every different courthouse, every county, some of them have different procedures. And the reason why, most of that is administrative law. And like I told you before, administrative law, in my opinion and what I've read, was created for corruption. Because they don't rule by the Constitution.
Okay. All right, to continue. This is very interesting. Like I said, you explaining it to me with the use of AI, and this is pretty crazy because you basically bypass an attorney, which you did a lot of legwork yourself. But to hear you utilizing AI the way you've done it, and you even showed me on your phone the procedure. I mean, this is pretty mind blowing. It's pretty inspirational. I would say for anybody that's listening or watching that if no one else helping you, or you can't afford a lawyer, or you want to represent yourself, you can use tools like AI, ChatGTP, and Grok, and even Gemini, right?
Yeah, Black's Law books. I mean, what I was researching would take me hours and hours to come up with. You can ask it a question now. It'll spit you out the answer, and you go back and research it. Sometimes they're wrong, but 95% of the time, you can go with what they tell you. Because it's amazing what they can tell you in a matter of seconds that takes you weeks to look up and research.
Let me just ask you, did you ever think that you would live to see a day like this where you can access information like this at your fingertips within seconds? It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I never thought I'd see it. I mean, I knew it was probably coming. And it's so cliche, but if you go back and watch movies, they've already told us all this in the movies. I mean, you just got to go back and think and look at what you've seen and realize this can really happen. And you realize they're building a huge AI center in Abilene. I mean, we're talking like, I think it's 800,000 square feet AI facility. I mean, to me, it's great for what we're doing, but also it's kind of scary. I mean, it's kind of scary when you sit down and really look at all of this.
We talk about a movie, talk about Terminator, 1 and 2, right? I mean, what happens there? I think that's the end game, right?
Well,
Do you see something like that happening, honestly?
I don't think it'll happen, but it's a possibility. I mean, you have to go through life on your faith. I mean, you have to go through life depending on what Jesus can do for you. He's got me to where I'm at today. Because like I said before, if I wasn't doing the right thing, I don't feel like I'd be sitting in the situation I am right now.
Okay. Yeah, amazing, man. And I wish we could talk about more. We've spoken here behind the scenes, but that'll come at a later date. This is very interesting, not just topic situation, the city we live in, and Michael here, who's a water. What's your
I
title?
drove a water well.
Okay, yeah, you're water well
well
driller,
driller.
I guess. But anyways, that's a whole other topic. Maybe one day we'll speak about that. So let's continue. So you got this big win. How did you feel? And what were you like? Like, whoa, what happened there?
It's kind of shell shocked when I got that letter from the clerk. But what she also got previous to this, the Supreme Court had already sent a copy of my writ of mandamus back to the county clerk, which to me tells me they're looking at my writ of mandamus.
So in layman's terms, for someone that doesn't understand that, what does that mean? They send it back to them. What does that actually mean?
Well,
or what does it look like?
when you file a writ of mandamus, that's your last step. The JP court didn't uphold the law. The county court at law didn't follow the law. The appellate court didn't follow the law. So now you have grounds to send a writ of mandamus, which is you're asking the Supreme Court to rule by the Constitution and rule the way it should be ruled. Okay? Now, back to my case. I was supposed to have 90 days to file a notice of appeal. The judge sent out the forcible detainer at day 56. So instead of sending a notice of appeal, well, I filed a notice of appeal. Then they wanted me to file why I was late filing my appeal, which technically I wasn't late. I had 90 days. So I filed at day 56. They wanted to send me this deal. They wanted an explanation of why I was late filing my appeal. So I didn't write that. I wrote a writ of mandamus to the appeals court. I don't need to file an appeal. It's a void judgment. You can't appeal a void judgment. But then here we rock along March 20th, they dismissed my appeal and they dismissed my writ of mandamus.
And who was they?
The appellate court, 11th Court of Appeals.
In what?
In Eastland.
Okay.
Which said they didn't have jurisdiction to sign my writ of mandamus. That's where you send it first, to the appellate court.
Are they breaking the law, not enforcing the law? What are they doing?
They did not follow the law. According to the law or the books and the procedure, when they read if they had read my notice of appeal and my appeal that I sent in to them, if they had read, which they're supposed to read everything that the clerk sends them in the case file, the transcript, everything in there. When they read my transcript, when I stated twice, there's a cloud on the title, the appellate court was supposed to send it back to the county court at law. This is a void judgment. They didn't do it. They charged me for the appeal fees.
And you even show me that on a void judgment charging you. That's wrong, correct?
That's constitutionally wrong and illegal.
Okay, so this why I really like this case, because it's so many, it's a lot of layers here. But you're basically exposing. What do you think you're exposing here? What are you showing, that the court system's flawed? Is it corrupt? Why is it like this? That these people are not following the law?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, this is all it is. My opinion is what I can give you. I think this all started with arrogance. I mean, I think it's corrupt for the fact that it shouldn't have happened the first time in my original foreclosure. They didn't have title. They can't foreclose. It's a constitutional right. They cannot foreclose without clear title. They did it. I couldn't hire an attorney. Nobody would take my case. So it's not just the courts. You can't tell me that out of 75 attorneys, not at least one would have taken my case.
Why do you think that is? Because I guess...
Because they know they're going against the system.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if you didn't do this. Imagine if you didn't take a stand, right?
Well, if I didn't take a stand, I'd be out in the street.
Exactly.
Again.
Whoa.
My children, my special needs children would have been out in the street again. They were out in the street the first time, forced out at gunpoint by the sheriff standing there with the gun on his hip telling us we had to leave the house. On a void judgment, illegal foreclosure, and like I've said, they stole my children's childhood.
And
They're 18 years old today.
And they did it illegally, unconstitutionally, correct?
Unconstitutionally.
What a damn shame.
Them special needs girls are 18 years old today. They lost 10 years of their life, childhood, from living in motels to FEMA trailers to just us trying to survive. Because in case you don't know it, when you get a foreclosure on your credit, you ain't buying another house.
Okay, so let's continue here with this. Boy, something else.
With them having a copy of the writ of mandamus, that tells me the Supreme Court's looking at it. Of course, the mandamus is only on this eviction part, on this case. Now, I am pursuing the wrongful foreclosure. Matter of fact, the citations went out to be served on Wednesday to the people that are being sued. It's going to be another battle because I'm going to have to be ready to answer excuse me, their motions for dismissal for this or for that. Let them file them. I have the grounds. And by what I stated earlier, the district judge here telling me that no judge was going to hear my case because of the two judges I have named, and then telling me that the district court, no judge there could stop what the county court was doing. That's a due process violation. That's an automatic grounds now. I want my petition for wrongful foreclosure moved to a whole different county, to a whole different district.
So explain that. Him saying that, what does that really entail, him saying that to you?
They're denying my due process to the court. Everybody has the right to their day in court. They can't deny you that. When he told me that, that's denying my 14th Amendment right to due process.
Well, why do you think he told you that? I mean, I guess your
because
opinion.
In my opinion, they're trying to discourage me to where I might just drop it because I don't think I'm going to get anything. Nobody will do anything for me. It's a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors when you get into this game, folks. They have a whole different language. It's called legalese. It's not English like you and I talk. Like legalese, for example, the word is could have 16 different meanings. That's how one president got off of impeachment. Is the word is and the different definitions in legalese. And personally, it plainly states that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Every statute, every code has to follow the Constitution. If it doesn't, it's unlawful. And statutes and codes are not laws. Read the Constitution, folks.
That kind of reminds me when they were trying to give us them mass mandates and all that in my city. I'm like, I ain't abiding by none of that crap. You know what I mean? Codes and whatever they want to put out there. But
well, we have a Texas Constitution too. And they violated the Texas Constitution just like they violated the federal Constitution. So, even the part with the eviction or the foreclosure without clear title, that's plainly stated in the Texas Constitution.
So Michael, where do you go from now? What's happening now?
I had to wait for this judge to sign this motion to vacate. I'm still pursuing my lawsuit for wrongful foreclosure, set aside foreclosure. I'm still going to file a federal lawsuit for my civil rights violations. Of my fourth for illegal seizure of my home. My fifth for due process to the Fifth Amendment. Seventh Amendment violation because the Seventh Amendment to the Constitution of the United States states any property over $20 in value has to be settled by trial by jury. Period. That's the Seventh Amendment to the Constitution.
And they violated that.
Yeah, they didn't even give me a rule from the bench.
Wow.
And like I stated before, anytime a judge, the only thing that can give you a true ruling on the law is the way everything is set up is a trial by jury. 12 of your peers.
I don't know if you can give recommendations, but if someone had to go to court or trial, would you always recommend them get a jury?
Oh, yeah. You always request a jury. You're not going to get it most of the time unless you know how to play the game. Just like my deal. I have, like, I think it's 30 days. I got to go back and look, but I got to do it this week. On my motion or my petition to set aside foreclosure, I have to request a jury. If you don't do it within a time frame, they can deny your jury.
When you would think that'd be automatic, right? You'd get a jury trial.
Well, you would think so, but not anymore. Now, they did pass some bills in the state legislature, and I've got to research this. I found out about it. And instead of filing, you can do in the state now, same thing you can with the federal lawsuit on your civil rights violations. They've made it a lot easier to have judges and attorneys held accountable. Here's the other thing. The opposing counsel, he's supposed to know the law, correct? That's why he's an attorney. Well, the moment I said there was a cloud on the title, he was supposed to tell the judge, you have no jurisdiction. He was supposed to bring it up according to their rules. So all I can tell you is if you're in this situation, if you're not in this situation, hope you never get in this situation. But it's amazing what you'll find out and what you're going to have to learn to deal with.
And that's what I said when you came in here. I said, I hope I never have to deal with this court system, because just for me digging in the last couple of months with, in the city, in the county now, people say there's no corruption. There's some corruption.
Oh, man, and this judicial system is all across the state. It's not just located in Midland County. Like I told you, I got some guys I've gotten friends to be friends with that are dealing in family court. And I thought my deal's bad. You don't want to be in family court. And I'm telling you now, it is bad.
Well, not to go into the weeds too much, but what's the deal with family court? Is it just made to be against a man, or what's the problem over there?
They invented family court for money. Constitution says your children are yours to raise. I mean, they can't take your children. They do it what's best for the child. Now, I'm just going on what these guys I've met and what they're dealing with. And when you hear their side of the story, they're totally ignored. Totally ignored. Some of it's sad. Like the one guy has a text where he could pick up his child on his day from his ex at her house. Gets there, she got the cops waiting on him, files harassment on him, takes him to court. And the day the court is the day he's supposed to have his child, which is a court order from the court. They can't even deny him his day. The court can't. But the judge denied him his day, held him in court, gave him a protective order. Now he has to wear a bracelet or an ankle bracelet because his ex lied. Sent him a text and then had the cops waiting on him, and they arrested him. And the judge broke her own order by not giving him the child on his day. She could have moved court to any other day. Not even the judge can break their order.
This is very alarming in my opinion, because who do you go to? They tell you do the right thing, go to court, go to the police, go to whoever, law enforcement, right? And then you go to them, and this is how regular citizens get treated. Michael, anything you want to add to your update here before we do end this video?
Well, this update, when everything happens, the next step happens, I'll update you and tell you what's going on.
And earlier you showed me something, right? You are, by law, you can, I don't know if it's sue or get restitution for, I guess, the cost.
Oh, yeah, you can go back and get restitution on what you had to spend on a void judgment. And
it shows right there, you show me the actual proof, correct?
Yeah. You can have the right to go back and ask for your restitution on the bond you had to pay, the fees you had to pay, your time as a pro se litigant. that you've had to spend putting all this together, plus the endangerment to your children having to deal with all this through a void judgment, especially special needs children. They forget that part. Didn't even acknowledge it. That's an ADA violation. Special needs minors have special rights that were totally ignored after even being told about it more than once.
All documented.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael, final words for anybody watching right now. A lot of people have been tuning into this story. What would you tell them right now? Go ahead.
Whatever you deal with in life, whether it's something as severe as this or whatever issue, trust in God. I mean, you have to have faith in Him because He can get you through everything. He's gotten us through this. I mean, if you look at the situation, I look back and think, our marriage has suffered, but we're still together. Our kids have suffered, but we're still a happy family. Not as happy as we could have been, but God's gotten us through all of it. And if you have to deal with this, use AI, but double check it because sometimes it's wrong. But sure makes your life a lot easier when you're trying to research stuff when it comes to the judicial system. I mean, if I'd have had it the first 6 months, I'd have been way ahead.
Okay. Well, there it is, y'all. Michael, thanks for the update. I hope we get some more wins. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.